Okay, welcome to the Big Daddy Liberty Show. My name is Sikhle Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. We are in Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha as it's now called, and you know what it is. It's the What South Africa Can Be tour. Now, you'll forgive the noise. We decided to stop on effectively a freeway to do this, but nonetheless, the conversation must continue. But no, we are not going to be in the town center of PE. I decided to do the townships here in Port Elizabeth to show you what South Africa is and then ask South Africans what it can be. So we're going to head out to Helenvale and indeed Motherwell, the two townships in this area, to talk to South Africans in this part of the world and to show you how they're living and why this vote on the 29th of May is super important to change things so people can show us what South Africa can be. This is the Big Daddy Liberty Show, the What South Africa Can Be tour in conjunction with the Institute of Race Relations. Let's get the conversation going and make our way to Helenvale and Motherwell. I'm standing in the middle of Helenvale at the moment. This is in the center of PE. This is peak, to an extent, state of PE or Gqeberha. Now, you can just see, I'll have my cameraman point in this direction. Effectively, it looks like fresh water, but it might also be sewage flowing down the street freely. Now, remember, this is a part of the world that has water restrictions and water issues at the moment. And I nearly said in the far distance, just across the road, heaps of rubbish piling up, testament to the fact that perhaps service delivery in this part of the world has completely collapsed. Now, here's the thing. Here's the context of it all that ties it together. As I walk in this direction, you're going to see homes right behind me. This is where people live. This is where ordinary residents of this part of the world live. And I keep saying this, and it becomes very unpopular to say, but who you vote for has consequences. And this is the story, perhaps, of the Eastern Cape broadly, and really PE or Gqeberha, and to be honest, the rest of the country. Who we vote for has consequences. The decisions we make on voting day will decide whether you live in this kind of a situation or there is actual change. Let's ask ordinary residents of the ground what they think about the state of things, and beyond that, with their vote, what South Africa can be. James has allowed us into his home because he really wants to show us an issue that he's facing that perhaps the municipality and really provincial government here is not addressing. So we're just going to walk in here. James, can you show us what you are facing here? Where's this water coming from, James?
We've got a leak. It's not from the drain, but it's coming above. I don't even know where.
Say again, please.
It's a leak. I don't know even where it comes from, but we've got neighbors here around about, and we've got a leak, and this leak, it's from above, where we don't even know. And this, my parents is very ill and sick, according to every day she's living in water, in the waterfront outside. We stand up when we wake up, and we stand in this water every single day. I don't know how we can help and serve this delivery for us. If the ability is possible that you can help us, we don't say no, because we also we are members of the part.
James, let me maybe ask you a question about you and your vote. No?
Yes.
The election is on the 29th of May, as you know. Are you registered to vote?
I'm already registered. I am on board, boss.
Okay.
I did the register already.
Then let me ask this. I've been touring the country asking people this question. With your vote, James, what are the issues that you care about and you want to see changed or improved?
The change I want to improve is here our community as well as the police with the gangsterism. I don't know is the police involved in this gangsterism because there's so many of our people who are starving here of hunger, out of jobs and being killed because the members, the houses, they can't even provide because of they are afraid to go out to seek for a light, nice job.
Maybe I want to steal one more question if you don't mind. You know, gangsterism and crime is clearly the big issue here. If Bheki Cele, the Minister of Police, was here right now, what would you say to him?
I should say, Minister, the ability is possible that our people in our community is so aggressive that they agree that they stand together, that they will even give their whole life in for that people to go against them. We don't care about the police because the police don't stand above our backs. Our back standing, we haven't got so we have to do it on our own way.
Sir, thank you. Sir, it is nearly the election, and I'm looking at Helenvale, and things are looking bad. There's rubbish on the streets, there's water, and maybe even sewage flowing down the streets. Talk to me about the state of PE at the moment. Are you happy with the way things are?
I'm not happy the way it is because there's no way. We are young boys here around there. We don't get work, you see, because why no one of us get work. You see, there's no work. No one gives us work. So what must we do?
Maybe as a final question, there's an election on the 29th of May, and we can vote for national government and provincial government. With your vote, what can South Africa be? What can change? What must change for you?
What will happen if we vote? What will happen with the vote? There's no one, and nothing will going to happen with the vote. You see, we're going to vote. What will happen with the vote?
So will you be voting?
For who? For who? And for what? That's my answer. For who and for what?
All right. No, I agree with you insofar as a lot of young people we've interviewed across the country.
There's a lot of things happen here around. You see, rubbish burn here around. Nothing happen here. We can vote for ANC, DA of what? Huh? Well, nothing gonna vote happen here. That's my answer.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So my guy.
Look, what we saw in Helenvale left me rather depressed. This is not what South Africa can be, and it is unfortunately what South Africa is. It's the reality, a bleak picture of piles of rubbish, broken infrastructure, out of control crime and gangsterism in the area, and a political system that people look at, especially the revolving door nature of it, of coalitions, that's effectively broken. And I can understand why people there and other parts of the country are saying they won't vote. They see no change. But if you thought Helenvale in Port Elizabeth was bad, well, I'm now taking a trip to Motherwell, another township outside in the outskirts of Port Elizabeth. NU10 in particular is where we are going, where things are absolutely worst. This is one of the largest informal settlements I've seen in a while. Rubbish strewn everywhere, and a poverty rate which unfortunately is symptomatic of South Africa and the Eastern Cape. But the question then sparks in my mind, if things are this bad in the Eastern Cape, if things are this bad and Port Elizabeth effectively has collapsed, why do people still vote ANC? That's the question that sparked in my mind, and it's the question I'm going to pose to people. Ma'am, are you registered to vote?
I'm ready to vote.
Okay. Ngevote lakho izini izinto okukhathaleza kakhulu ngazo, yini ongabona ongathanda ukubona kushintsha?
Into endingathanda uyibona itshintsha okokuqala lulutsha alufumani imisebenzi, olutsha alufumani icebo loba malifunde ezikolweni ku-NSFAS, and ke ngoku njengoba sihleli apha nje sidinga imisebenzi efumanekayo iyasixelela i-ANC uba sifuna imisebenzi masivotele yona because imisebenzi ekhoyo ye-ANC ayinayo ayikho imibutho enemisebenzi ngaphandle kwabo. enye into besiyinqwenela into yoba kule ndawo sihlala kuyo imdaka kakhulu akho nto ikhathalelekileyo kufuneke siyenzile asikhathalelwanga nezikhalazo asizazi uba masizifake phi na because kaloku i-ANC ixabile ithi yona yonke kuphethe yona so yonke into ixhomekeke kuyo sibe singaboni iphuhliso luqhubekekayo.
Ma'am, I'm listening to you say this, but a part of me is wondering if the things are so bad under the ANC, why are people in the Eastern Cape still voting for ANC?
Into ebangela abantu baqhubekeke bavotele i-ANC, it's not that bayivotela kuba beyithanda bavotela kuba befuna imisebenzi because imisebenzi evelayo kuthiwa yeye-ANC. So uba ufuna uphangela votela i-ANC so abantu bazincame ke ngoku bayophangela kuba kusithiwa imisebenzi ekhoyo ye-ANC abantu babebonele i-ANC so abantu bayiswa kuba umsebenzi ovelayo usithi gqina ama-ANC usithi ngowama-ANC. So uba ufuna uphangela umzekelo ufuna ufumana umsebenzi apha emaphepheni ku-EPWP funeka unxibe iskipa se-ANC ube livolontiya le-ANC uzokwazi ufumana umsebenzi ubufuna ulala utyile endlini yakho.
Do you think that's right, where people must vote for the ANC in order to get economic opportunities? When ngokubona kwakho into elungile leyo ukuze abantu bathole intuthuko bathole amathuba kumele bavote i-ANC?
Andiyiboni into right leyo because ekugqibeleni noba ngaba bangasithatha bafuna into yoba masibe ngamavolontiya wawo ukuze silale sityile ezindlini masiphangele ekugqibeleni ngapha kwe-ballot paper bayazi into esiyicingayo qha apha ibuhlungu khona into yoba ke ngoku ufuneke unxibe iskipa se-ANC ube unombutho wakho ngenxa into yoba funeka ucenga ulala utyile because if ungomnye umbutho awufumana umsebenzi because i-ANC iyasicela into yoba masenze into ifunwa yiyo noba sifuni kuba bathi yiyo elawulayo.
No, enkosi mama, siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you. Baba, we're talking to residents about the election on the 29th of May. Are you registered to vote?
Yeah, bro.
Maybe let me ask the second question, which is, with your vote, what can South Africa be? What must improve in the country?
Mlungu wami nokugxila kakhulu kulezo ngoba iSouth Africa kwayona aqala ibolile ngoba awuzukwazi ngokuthetha uthi makwenzekile ngoba thina silapha emhlabeni asiviwa ngabantu abaphezulu. Abona abantu baphezulu bezinothana into abayifunayo iyi-1 example njengangosi laba ne bafuna basivote but asaba sawuvotela ntoni because kuyafana ubuvotile awuvotanga ngohlobo kwenza kodwa ke mna ndibhalisile for uvote.
Mhlawumbe mangitshontshe umbuzo okugcina nje ubomi apha e-NU10 bunjani awungixelele ubomi. What is life like here in NU10?
Yeah, kulo njengoba ubona nawo basime endaweni enjani sihlele endaweni enjani sihlele ubugqibeni ayikho into esinoyenza and akho nto sinoyitshintsha. Yabo nevote lethu sicimba lizawutshintsha mhlambi ewe lona lizawutshintsha qha asizumanyela ka sifika pha phezulu ngoba ungakupresident wena kukhona ngapha kwakho. Yabo
Uvusa amaphuzu amnandi mhlawumbe okugcina nje umbuzo ngempela. Njengabahlali bala Eastern Cape kukhona lokho ukuthi kuhlezi kuvotwa i-ANC la Eastern Cape. Wena ngokubona kwakho kungani lokho? Why abantu basavote i-ANC lana ekubeni abajabulile ngemeko apha?
Ndinokuthi wona bhutam ne ANC ne kuwona mbutho we-South Africa yongani ane but ke ngoku iyasityhafisa and isiphethe kabuhlungu ngohlobo yenzeka ngalo ngohlobo ililo apha kuthi ngoku yabo lo mntana uzazalwa wakho umntana kube kusanje izathi ke ngoku ifuture ifumana phi ubomi buphi kuye naye xa izalwa wakho mntanam sikhule kunje nathi bawuhlale bekhula kunje asinayo enye indlela futhi funa sihleli ngohlobo.
Mam Noxolo, you are a local activist here in NU10, which is a part of Motherwell, just outside PE, or now it's called Gqeberha, of course. These are the scenes we saw as we were even driving in to Motherwell are shocking. The level of, or the lack of service delivery, I should actually say, is a massive, massive problem here. Talk to me about what's going on in Motherwell.
Thank you. Apha eMotherwell eyona nto yenzekayo sine-services ezilekisha kakhulu. IMotherwell umzekelo mandithethe nge-Department of Infrastructure whereby sine-sewerage kuyo yonke indawo yalapha eMotherwell apho khona kungekho even indlela yokuba ku-upgradewe i-pump stations salapha eMotherwell due to into yoba iMotherwell iyakhula eleke kusisa kukwi-NU30 kukwi-N29 apho khona kuthathwa abantu from kwazakhele basiswe eMotherwell, but ufumanise into yoba iMotherwell ayinayo upgrading of i-infrastructure. Ibangele loo nto into yoba kukolapse ii-sewers nee-drains ezikhoyo apha eMotherwell, sibe kanti sidada kule sewer uyibonayo xuhamba. Andithethi ke ngenkunkume yalapha eMotherwell. As you see, ungena kwethu eMotherwell singene kumdaka, yonke indawo imdaka eMotherwell. Akho ndawo i-empty space eMotherwell engekho mdaka because akuklinwa eMotherwell. Andithethi ke ngee-clinics zaseMotherwell, whereby ii-clinics zaseMotherwell every day kukho i-queue kwii-clinics zaseMotherwell, kukho i-shortage of staff eMotherwell, kukho i-shortage of i-medication eMotherwell kwii-clinics zakhona. Abantu babhubhele ezitywini, bakholapse ezitywini because akukho staff. Uba ndinothetha ngecrime yaseMotherwell, you know mos sikwi-high crime rate thina, sikunumber 4, especially police station yalapha e-NU10, whereby kule police station yalapha e-NU10 xa sisiya fast yokwenza i-oversight ndifumanise into yoba kule police station yaseMotherwell ingqeshwa yikho. Awakho amapolisa, umcuphi omnye une-case about 38 cases, umcuphi oyi-1. I-sector A1 apha emapoliseni isebenza nge-van A1. How can we manage i-crime eMotherwell xa sine-shortage of staff enjalo?
Can I stop you here for a moment? Because we're going to spend some time and talk about this. Even as you're talking about, you know, the litter everywhere, the lack of refuse services from the Nelson Mandela Metro. I want my cameraman just to show people what we're talking about here. I mean, this is effectively a dumping area here. And I'm going to ask my cameraman to please point in that direction just to see the people dumping. They have to dump here because there is no refuse collection. It's a very bad situation. No human being should be living like this. That is the bottom line here. And who governs this particular part of the world? Well, it's the ANC, EFF, Patriotic Alliance coalition, I'll call it. And we're going to ask them these questions, these hard questions, because issues of coalitions in this country is perhaps the future of our politics. And if this is what coalition politics looks like, then it's not a very bright future. Matt, just stick with me for a moment, because as I say that, I want the cameraman to go this way also, so you can see, again, a lot of informal homes, informal settlements, as people, as Umama said, the area is growing rapidly, but clearly there is no housing. Ma, I'm going to ask us to walk so you can show us not only is there an issue with the refuse, that is collection of refuse, but you mentioned that there is sewerage issues. Water and sanitation is clearly a big problem here as the population grows.
Really, sewerage, yeyona nto ingamandla apha kuthi. Uba ndinokubonisa ngoku kule ndawo siya kuyo, ungafumanisa into yoba how can abantu bahlale kwimeko enjeni. Ungaya kwiiofisi zee-councillors akufumani ncedo. Kulo rhulumente ke usiphetheyo, abantu bayavota now and then, bavotela ukuthi mabahlale kwimeko ezinjeni. Ndiyafuna ukuthi kubantu balapha eNelson Mandela Bay masike sifuna utshintsho. Imeko enjeni esihlala phantsi kwayo singabahlali balapha ayisifisi kamandi, especially kwi-sewage.
You know, even as you're saying this, we're standing, I'll come back to you in a moment. This is an open sewer. It is an open sewer, quite literally an open sewer, no manhole on it. There are children in this area. Imagine children playing not only in the rubbish, but also then falling into that. I'm going to ask my cameraman to be very careful and watch his footing as he just shows briefly that. And not only is that an open sewer, if you look to the right, there's water in and amongst the trash there. Again, what is the health implications of something like that in this area? Guys, this is exactly why we decided to do this tour around the country, the What South Africa Can Be tour, because this is not what South Africa should be. And people are obviously voting for a reason. There is a great challenge here for ordinary South Africans who live in situations like these. It's maybe a big reason why a lot of South Africans are saying, you know what, I'm not even going to register, I'm not going to vote, because they feel like there might not be any change. But talk to me about how that is a problematic opinion or a problematic view. Why should people vote?
Ndingathi xa ndithetha ngevote sasa ndithi vote, it's your voice okokuqala. Okwesibini ivote into etshintsha impilo yakho. Okwesithathu ndithi kubantu mabavote because xa umuntu esithi akavoti imfuno akazuzifumana. Xa umuntu esithi akavoti izawubangela loo nto uba ahlale kwimeko ezinjeni. Xa sinothi sivote kungalula kuthi ukuthi sinoke sitshintshe ivotes zethu ngoba eyona nto ibalulekileyo xa ungazifumani imfuno ungumhlali kumele into bivoti zakho ukuzitshintshe uzise kwelinye icala. Yiloo nto ndi-encourage kakhulu abantu ukuthi kwimeko esihleli kuyo especially in black areas kwiindawo ezinjengezi sihlala kuzo kodwa sinabantu abasikhokela abantu basikhokhela abakwi-office now and then from 8 to 4 o'clock but abantu bahlale kwimeko enjeni. Ndifuna ukuthi kubahlali baseNelson Mandela Bay abantu bangakwazi uzifumana imfuno if banotshintsha u-ex wabo bakhe bamphose kwelinye icala ukwenzela into yoba lo rhulumente esikuwo nge-29 of May akabona ukuthi abantu bakuthi bakruqukile indlela abahleli ngayo nongahoywa kwabo ngabantu.
Absolutely. Maybe as a final question, and again, thank you so much for your time. You know, this is the What South Africa Can Be tour. We're traveling around the country asking South Africans that question. You know, what can South Africa be with their vote? Maybe let me make the question a bit personal to you. You know, you're going to be voting on the 29th of May. Yes. What can this country be? What are the issues that you think must be addressed?
I think ezona issues must addresswe up i-crime rate. Highest of i-crime rate kwindawo esihlala kuyo. Okwesibini msasazi ndicinga into yoba ngevote yami endizawuthi ndiyibeke nge-29 kaMeyi engafihlisiyo endizayinika i-Democratic Alliance ndinento ethi abantu bakuthi abantwana bethu abaphangeli. I think ukuthi abantwana bethu kusuppose uba bayaphangela. Sine-undergraduates abantwana abapasileyo abangena umsebenzi but if uyafumanisa uyabona into yoba endaweni yoba abantwana bethu baqeshwe kukho le nto kuthiwa yi-cadre deployment apha abantwana baqeshwa ngosuke babe ngamaqabane obani nobani so which is abantu bethu ndiyafuna ukuthi ngalo wam u-ex personal ndizawuvotela utshintsho ukwenzela into yoba impucuko nemfundo yabantwana bethu ibe kwizinga eliphezulu. Masithethe njengo-NSFAS abantwana ngoku abafumani i-NSFAS but ufumanisa into yoba kuthiwa imali ka-NSFAS ihamba ibheke kwezinye iindawo. How can abantwana bethu bathi benabazali abangaphangeliyo baphinde bangamfumani u-NSFAS but imali ka-NSFAS is available for into yoba matyiwe ngabanye abantu. Ndifuna ukuthi ke ngelitshoyo personally I vote for DA 100%.
Absolutely, ma'am. I want to steal one more question, sorry, because you raised a very important point here, because part of this episode, part of our travel across the Eastern Cape is to also ask the question of Abakhali, the residents here, why do they stick with the ANC? Not because we're personally saying, you know, they must vote this or vote that. That's not our point. But, you know, often you see the Eastern Cape on shows like Checkpoint or Special Assignment or, you know, where there's serious problems, but people then continue voting ANC. Why do you think that's the case? Especially when you are saying, hey, I'm willing to change my vote for something better. But why do other people still vote ANC in the Eastern Cape?
Hey, sasasidibuhlungu kakhulu lo mbuzo wakho. Because ngowona mbuzo ubuhlungu. Nam ndingazibuza into yoba why abantu bethu bethi keep on ukuvotela i-ANC kodwa ngalo lonke ixesha bayabona uba i-ANC ayibenzeli into bayabona uba i-ANC endaweni yoba yenza into siya ngoku sisiya kwiqondo loba abantwana bethu babe ngamaphara. Ndizawuthi ke xa nditshoyo because eli gama libi xa silibizayo ngabantwana bethu but abantwana bethu bantyumpantyumpeka kwitiki. Abantwana bethu bantyumpantyumpeke ekutywaleni because abantwana bethu abakwazi ukucinga ngoba baphangela. Ndiyafuna ukuthi kubantu bethu andiyazi msasazi andizuthi why bevotela i-ANC maybe yena umuntu personal angaphendula kakuhlathi why ndivotela i-ANC but ndiyafuna ukuthi kubantu bethu kwanele enough is enough.
Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. If you want things to change, if you are keen on answering the question of what South Africa can be, then it sure as hell cannot be this. It sure as hell cannot be the high crime rates, the unemployment that we're often hearing. You know, we often hear politicians talk about high issues of land expropriation and, you know, nationalize the banks and blah, blah, blah. Ordinary people on the ground are saying, no, before you go into big issues that are actually quite irrelevant, how about you fix issues like these? That is what South Africa can be. All right, that's it for this episode here in Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha as it's now called. We decided to come to Motherwell and Helenvale, which are the townships here, because we wanted to have this conversation. I wanted to put to the residents here the question of what South Africa can be, because this is the What SA Can Be tour. We wanted to talk to ordinary residents and hear from them. Is there an excitement as they head towards the election on the 29th of May? What are the issues that they consider to be the main issues they face? Do those issues echo what the politicians in this country, whether they be on the left or the center left or the left again, because all our politicians really in this country are trendy lefties. But the point is, do what those politicians talk about echo as issues that ordinary residents speak about? And when you then put the question to them, what South Africa can be, what are the usual responses? Maybe you heard something that resonates with you on the show. Let me know. Please join the conversation by using hashtag #WhatSACanBe, and let me know, are you registered to vote? Are you excited to vote? And what are the issues that you care about? South Africans have common issues. I've always said this. What is usually division by the politicians and indeed the political elites is not echoed on the everyday streets, where issues are very common across race. What can South Africa be is the question that we ask. Join the conversation. Follow us, of course, by following all Big Daddy Liberty sites, whether they're on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, or on Instagram. Follow Big Daddy Liberty and, of course, use hashtag #WhatSACanBe. Join the conversation. And with that being said, let me remind you, we are touring the country ahead of the elections on the 29th of May, talking to ordinary South Africans. We head now to the Western Cape as we pick this story up, as we pick up the tour in Knysna, the Southern Cape, and of course in Cape Town. This is the hashtag #WhatSACanBe tour in conjunction with the Institute of Race Relations. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you on the next one.